So I thought today I would show you guys the process of mixing vocals and, kind of at least my process for kind of how I record vocals and how I go about mixing and arranging and everything for my music, specifically pop music. We're going to be looking at my newest release, Through the Rain, because it's a pop song and I think that it has kind of pretty good examples of like what I do basically every time for like a pop song with a lot of vocals. Yeah, let's take a look. So obviously this song has a crazy amount of vocals. Yeah, I guess I'll start with just showing you kind of the lead vocal and what kind of plugins and what kind of things I do for the lead vocal. It's the track right up top here. Basically, like, the thing with the lead vocal for me is like it just has to be really, really clean and have the power to like stay strong above all the other layers.
I pray you feel the same. Tell me that you'll stay.
And a big thing for me is also like how much the vocals fill up the space. It's like I want the vocal to really fill up the space of the song. So much so that like you could imagine a song with like an instrumental that's like really like stripped back and not much going on, but if there was like a really cool full vocal, it would like still sound really nice kind of thing. So I'm kind of always keeping that in mind. But you can see here like I've got a lot of clips kind of chopped up here because basically when I was comping, it's like sometimes there is just a line like this
The same,
that like might have been better than another take.
the same.
But then for these words of this take, it's like I like those more, so I use those.
I pray you feel the same.
And in that way, it's like you kind of stitch together the perfect take. It's like we're not all fucking, Ariana Grande can't record like perfect takes every single time. So sometimes you gotta mix and match like that to really make it work. And also some of these are cut out because, yeah, see like this one is like 10 cents up corrected just with a little bit of manual pitch correction. So plugin wise, I'll just take you through the line here because this is literally my like main saved vocal chain that I use. So I can confidently say it's like this is basically the same vocal chain that I've used like for every song that has vocals on it. And it's like some things are maybe new and different and tweaked that I've like gotten that I didn't have at one point, but it's essentially the same thing. As far as like vocal chains, this is the same one I use every time. So you can totally copy this if you use Ableton, like just use the same plugins, make a chain and mess around with it. I think if that works for you, that is awesome. But yeah, I'll take you down the line here. The first thing always is auto-tune. This is actually my old auto-tune I've recently upgraded, but this is literally the first auto-tune I ever got, and I used it up until like months ago for every single thing with vocals. And you know, it's definitely dated and old and limited, but that being said, it's honestly held up for me, and it's been fine for everything I've made. So it's kind of goated for that, to be honest. And I think when I bought it, it was literally like $30. So, but yeah, note transition is usually around 40 or 50 or 60 for me. Like, unless it's a song that's supposed to be very auto-tuned, like more of like a hip-hop song. But I'll show you the difference. Like,
I pray you feel the same.
so that's the vocal in the final song, and then this is what it would be with like it cranked.
Tell me that you'll stay with me through the rain. Tell me that you'll.
So yeah, you can see that there's like definitely a difference in feel there for the auto-tune. It's like, I don't actually dislike auto-tune vocals. I know a lot of people have mixed opinions on it, but I think it's like there's always a time and a place, and you know, really good singers use auto-tune, like a cranked auto-tune effect, all the time to like just be an artistic choice. So I think it can definitely be cool, and I like using it in that way. But ultimately, it's like I do need it because I'm not that good at singing. But yeah, so auto-tune always goes first. Then I've got this Ableton gate that is basically just cutting out all the silence so that it's super clean. When the vocal ends, you can see the spike there, like it takes out the silence in between the vocal, because sometimes, you know, I don't have the best sound treating in here, so it's like kind of the, you know, the room can be kind of loud, and so putting a gate on it to just like cut out a bunch of noise in the background can definitely be helpful. For the reverb, I've actually got this Guitar Rig Vintage Verb as the reverb.
Tell me that you'll.
Alternatively though, like normally I basically always use this TLA Reverb 4, and you can hear the difference.
With me through the.
And with it off,
With me through the.
like it's just a much kind of bigger reverb, and you can like,
With me through the.
you know, you can change the mix of it too to sound like it's kind of a bigger like background reverb, which I really like for vocals. But yeah, I kind of range for reverbs. It's like it really depends on the song. For delay, I pretty much always use Ableton delay for my vocals, and really just in general, I think the delays on Ableton are really great. For a lead vocal, I pretty much always use it at the 8th delay here, and feedback super low, usually 0, but it's at 5% right now. And then the wetness is usually around like 15 to 20.
With me through the.
It just gives you that last word echo after each line. You'll hear it better if I crank this up.
With me through the.
Yeah, like again, the wetness and feedback and everything there can really range for each song, but I always like having it on every vocal. I think that's another really great way to just fill up space and have your vocal really shine. For EQs, I've basically always just used EQ8 from Ableton. You can see I do a lot of mid-range ducking because my voice is very mid-range heavy. I do some high boosts
I pray you feel.
for the lead
I
vocal.
pray you feel the same.
My main thing is basically always just cutting out, you know, unnecessary low end and mid range, and then boosting highs. You can see I also use EQ8s on the whole group of all the vocals with the same kind of stuff, like a little bit of ducking for the mid range, cutting out the lows there, and then on both of them just boosting the highs a little bit. But yeah, and then I've got an Ableton de-esser preset compressor that I think just helps with some of the kind of annoying high frequency stuff.
With me through the...
I kind of just throw that on as like, you know, a fail safe. And then the main compressor I use for every vocal now is this UAD LA2 compressor that I bought that is just kind of like the perfect compressor for me and my voice. And in my opinion, for vocals on pop music, just in general, it's a really highly recommended compressor just for vocals on pop music, because it's just a really nice one. But so that is literally my vocal chain for the lead vocal that I use basically every single time. So then, just to break down the chorus here a bit more, it's like lead vocal, then I've got two backup vocals, or layered vocals, that are panned all the way to the left and all the way to the right. So if I play just this one,
I pray you feel the same.
it's just on the left, and this one is
I pray you feel the same.
just on the left. And then if you play both of them, it's like
I pray you feel the same.
kind of a full, really wide vocal, but also you want to kind of like EQ them and compress them a little differently. You can see I've actually got the same chain, but like some stuff is different. Like I'm using some different compressors, like this kilohertz compressor with just some different stuff, and then the EQ is different. Highs are boosted a lot more, and delay is turned off. It's just like there's minor differences, but it's just to kind of, you don't want it to sound like it's a lead vocal. It's like it's supposed to be a layered vocal. And then all three of these together is really where you get into like, this is what the main vocal is going to sound like.
I pray you feel the same. Tell me that you'll stay.
And so even just with those three, it's like, you know, a super full sounding vocal there. And then yeah, as far as like verses, it's relatively the same. So again, it's just auto-tune, gate, reverb, delay, EQ8, de-esser, LA2 compressor. It's literally the exact same chain as the lead vocal again, but everything is just kind of a little bit different and tweaked a little.
I run for miles and never get tired, just to let you know.
And you can see here, it's like I've got, like these two lines are different clips, but they're faded together, and obviously they flow together pretty perfectly, like you wouldn't even be able to tell. And that's really also what you want. It's like sometimes comping different takes is like, you want to really watch out that you're not comping two takes together that like sound different, that like your energy or your voice was just different for each take, because then, you know, if a listener can kind of point out like, oh, that sounds like two different takes, then you're doing it wrong, kind of thing. Or, you know, you have to do better than that. For the verse too, I've got two doubles again.
I run for miles and never get tired.
But the volumes on these are even lower than the ones in the chorus. So obviously, again, it's like I wanted them to be pretty low key, but they're there just for the, you know, the power and the layering that it gives for the main vocal. Then for this bit, with the little kind of ad-lib oohs and ahs, this is kind of an interesting trick, because the original demo for this song was 2 keys lower than this one. And when I started it, it was 2 keys lower, and then I kind of left it for a long time, and when I came back to it, I was like, oh, I actually think that I should pitch this all up a bit, and I'll be able to sing it better, because 2 keys higher is like a better range for me. And so that's what I ended up doing. But this kind of ad-lib vocal part is from the original demo, but it's the exported acapella that I just pitched up to semitones. So the original was like this. But so I just took that and pitched it up to. But just the fact that it was my voice, but just pitched up to be in the new key of the song, it's like, you know, it was gonna be a falsetto vocal anyway, but the fact that it's like my falsetto, but it's pitched up to, it just like sounds that bit more of like an interesting kind of vocal. Like, I feel like if I actually tried to sing that in that key, it like wouldn't sound as nice as it sounds like this pitched up to from the original. I know it's kind of confusing to explain, but hopefully that kind of makes sense. It's like, it was kind of like a happy accident that I had the original vocal from the demo, and you know, this is literally the only vocal from the original that I used, because obviously the rest were in the wrong key and I just took them all out and re-recorded everything. But for this, it's like, oh no, it actually sounds cool just pitching it up and still using it. This is a delay here. If I really want things to be clean and under control volume wise for the mix, I freeze the audio of the delay for vocals like I did here.
I'll never let go.
So it actually just hits this audio delay instead of like the delay on the vocal actually being the thing that you hear in the song. Just because it's easier to mix that way for me, like having a lot of effects going on. Some more background vocals and stuff come in the second verse, obviously.
With you, life's a blur. I'll tell you it's alright, and that you'll never.
For this little vocal effect on the word blur, it's literally just the frequency shifter from Ableton with the frequency and the ring mod going just on that line. I think, yeah, like I can show the automation there too. It's literally just like a little dip down.
Blur, I'll tell you it's alright.
Thought it was kind of a fun little effect to have for the second verse there. And then as well, obviously the most vocals are in the last chorus. So you can see, like, you can kind of see the progression of, like, you know, the amount of clips. It's like, this is verse, chorus, second verse, and it's relatively the same amount of vocals going on, a little bit of extra in the second verse. Then second chorus, there's a bunch of extra stuff going on because it's the second chorus. So like all of these new things come in that are just all the kind of harmonies and extra stuff.
Same. Tell me that you'll stay.
Those really high falsetto vocals. And then the bridge, so it's kind of like less going on, but you know, some extra stuff. And then for the last chorus here, it's like, you know, the most vocals all at once. And for this chorus, I actually have 4 doubles that are all panned left and right, so that it would sound like an even crazier amount of wideness and fullness.
Hey, I pray you feel the same. Tell me that you'll stay with me through the rain, with me through the...
So it's 4 doubles panned left and right, each one mixed a little differently. The first 2 are -6 dB, the second 2 are -8 dB. So again, it's kind of like they're each a little quieter, but it's still doing its intended purpose of like really filling up the size of the vocal. And then obviously there's also these harmonies layered.
Feel the same.
All these harmonies layered in as well.
That you'll stay.
You know, like even just these kind of ambient vocals. With a bunch of reverb and stuff going on. But yeah, and obviously it's like each one of these ad-libs and extra vocals again have the same exact vocal chain. It's just everything is a little bit different. Because that really is the thing. It's like if you make a vocal chain that's really strong and works for your voice and your vocal, then it's just about putting that on your vocal tracks for your music and then tweaking everything to fit the song. You know, it's like there's no such thing as a vocal chain that'll just work on every song no matter what. Like that's just not possible. You know, every song is different and in a different key and has different frequencies, and you're going to be singing in a different key. So automatically you'll have to EQ that vocal differently and compress it differently probably. And, you know, it's like different songs call for different effects too. It's like sometimes you might want more reverb and more delay and like a really echoey vocal, and sometimes you might want a vocal that's like super dry and basically has like no echoing effects whatsoever. So it's just different every time. But if you build a vocal chain that kind of has the basic stuff that you know you're gonna need to use on basically every song, then you can kind of make it easier for yourself in that way. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I hope this video ends up being helpful to you guys making music and recording vocals out there. If you think it will help you out, then give this video a like and maybe share it around to your other homies making music. Yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.